4 ways to weather the storm, aka COVID-19. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with Supersize Your Business, and our idiom, our expression today is weather the storm. Now, it would be ridiculously amiss to go a month long talking about different idioms with respect to change and challenge and not discuss a little bit the COVID-19 pandemic and what we have needed to do and what we continue to do with respect to our businesses, whether you're just starting out a business or new, whether your business was well established. I have yet to speak to a business owner that was not impacted by all of the craziness and chaos that ensued from the COVID-19 pandemic, whether it hit you in early 2020, whether it actually hit you in 2019 like it did some of us. It's impacted all of us on both a personal, professional, and business level. It's been like a giant tsunami across the globe with respect to how much impact it's had. And I think that for decades to come, we're going to continue to discover some of the ramifications, some of the results of the way that the pandemic happened, the way it was handled, the way it continues to be handled. And if we think it's going away, if we think the changes and the challenges that have come up during this time period, the last year and a half or so, are just going to go away, we're just deluding ourselves. So what are 4 ways we can handle this COVID pandemic for ourselves and for our businesses, as well as where the heck did this idiom, this expression even come from? It's actually from the time of ship transportation and sailing, and a ship that would go through a bad storm and weather the storm and survive pretty much unharmed, its cargo and crew mostly intact, would said to have been that it weathered the storm. Now I think of, weather in storms nowadays as people who wait out hurricanes or wait out tornadoes or wait out tsunamis or acts of God in nature in their homes or in their places of business or in some place safe. To me, that's weathering the storm. And then if they're fortunate enough to not suffer any major damage or any injuries, they have weathered the storm. It feels a lot like luck to me, and I want to have a little more control over my life and my destiny than to count on, I'm just going to stay in place, I'm going to put some shutters on my windows, and I'm going to hope for the best. I'm going to hope the hurricane doesn't take down my whole house, or I've got a tornado shelter or a safe room in my house, or a hurricane room in my house. They have those down in Florida, apparently, according to my nephew. But I'm going to be a little more proactive like that with that. Now, especially with respect to my business. I always had an emergency action plan for all of my businesses, but it never included a pandemic until 2020. And then, of course, we added that to our crisis planning, our emergency action plans. So what are some things that we want to do if we haven't done them already with respect to our management and handling of COVID-19 pandemic? Depending on your business and your situation, the vast majority of business owners I've talked to, as much as I'd like to say they did these things and have already done them, the vast majority of people and the vast majority of business owners have not done them. Number 1, we need to manage our mindset. We need to change our state, change the way we're looking at the situation, manage our media, make sure that what we're feeding our brain is actually going to help us solve the problems that we're facing, not sugarcoat them or cause us to procrastinate or put off doing anything because we're waiting for something outside of us to change. As business owners, we know this. We know that we are in charge of our own destiny. So we need to, number 1, manage ourselves. Then we need to help the people that we serve and work with to manage their situations, because each and every one of the people that we work with, our vendors, our suppliers, our customers, our teammates, our strategic partners, whatever you call the people that you interact with on a regular basis, every single one of their lives were blown up just like yours and your business. So remember to keep in mind what's going on with other people. There's this tendency whenever there's a change or a challenge or a crisis to like get smaller, to pull in and do less marketing, do less communicating, do less problem solving, just to like hunker down and nail up the windows, shutter the windows, and just wait out the storm. But these are the times when we actually need to be out looking for opportunities, looking for what we can do, looking for the new problems that we can solve for the people we've been serving all along. in order to make a positive difference, in order to be the example for what people need during a time of crisis, time of emergency, a time of crisis, a time when true leadership is in short supply yet dire need. So what can you do to help your team, to support your business, to pivot, to do new things, to solve new problems? We need to find balance and we need to focus on our energy. And I personally have a huge problem with the word balance because of the way it's taught and interpreted by so many people. Balance, like everything else, is different for each and every one of us. If you spent 80% of your time on your business and COVID shut your business down, you're not going to find something else to spend 80% of your time on and balance all the different areas and aspects of your life. You're going to spend 80 or 100% of your time figuring out what you need to do to continue to move forward and move toward the goals and objectives you have for yourself and your business, despite what's going on. So find the energy, focus on your energy, focus on what you need to do to take care of yourself and your business and the people that are involved with you in your business in order to have the energy to assess your situation, figure out what's going on, figure out what's possible, and then get super duper creative and imaginative in terms of how you serve people, what you do. It's been a huge mind opener and mind blower for so many people in so many industries because we've had to figure out different ways of doing things, different ways of looking at things. You know, to be on Zoom calls with my 84-year-old mother and my 90-year-old relatives is absolutely, it's awesome. It's fun. It's a way to get together when we couldn't get together. So you need to find new ways of doing things and to actually embrace the capability and the technology that we do have in the world nowadays, because it made this pandemic a whole lot easier than it would have been had it not been technologically capable or possible for people to work at home. Consider what options you have. There's always things that we can do. Find ways to differentiate yourself and your situation and then take action. Plan proactively. Don't just wait for things to happen and things to come down the pipe for you in your personal life or your business. Figure out what's best for you and those you love and care about, your family, your business. In a lot of cases, our business is our family. What is best for your family in order to keep moving forward? And maybe it's not forward on the plan that you had in 2019 for 2020, but forward on the new plan that you've proactively created to make sure that you keep moving forward, keep taking steps in the direction that are right for your business, no matter what's going on outside of you or around you. And that includes the weather, literally the weather, as well as things like the pandemic, things like legislation and things that are outside of our control, things that politicians and governments do. Figure out ways to mitigate our losses or to minimize the impact of those things on our businesses. Finally, we want to create a crisis plan and find ways to help one another out. Again, the need for leadership is just increasing exponentially in this world right now. And I'm not talking pretend political figurehead leadership. I'm talking real freaking leadership where you stand up, you do what's right, you stand up and say and do the right thing, and you lead by example. That is leadership. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. So curious, have you had experience weathering the storm? I've weathered the storm through a couple of tornadoes. I've never been in a hurricane, knock wood, don't really want to ever be in a hurricane. Been through lots of blizzards. I don't know if blizzards count as weathering the storm, but if you're stormed in for 4 to 5 days, like even my relatives in Texas were last year, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You get really creative. You manage your mindset. You balance your energy. You focus on what you need to do to survive the situation. You find ways to differentiate, to get creative, and you act. You plan proactively. You don't just wait for the world to solve the problem for you. And then you have a plan, and you reach out and you help other people. So curious, share in the comments below your experience with weathering the storm. What have you done that's really served you well during the COVID-19 pandemic? I think that would be really valuable to share that information with one another. Any questions? Hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow for another interesting idiom based on changes and challenges to coincide with the August 2021 30-day free Get Up and Go challenge. And then maybe we'll continue this through the month of September as the kids are going back to school and things. Or maybe we'll pick a different topic. But I've had a lot of fun and entertainment and learned a lot by going through change and challenge idioms. And I hope you have too. See you tomorrow.